Hey everybody, welcome to the Sideline Banter show, SB for short. I'm your host Nadeem alongside my co-hosts Jamaal and Umayr.
Woo!
We have a great second show ready to get going for you guys. Thank you so much for all your feedback and support over the first show. We have a lot of mailbag questions that we asked you guys to fill out, so we're going to be going over that as well. We have a lot of news and notes to go over, a lot of drama in the Zlatan Ibrahimovic Lebron debate. And we're going to end the show with a great discussion about who should be on each sports logo. So without further ado, find us at the Sideline Banter Show on Instagram and on YouTube. I'm Nadeem. You can find me at NadeemN22 on Instagram. Guys,
Mary, go for it.
Yeah, if you want like food and you like watching or looking at food, Umayr Eats. And then if you want to see like my personal content, sports in general, it's Umayr one.
Umayr, what are you watching right now on your laptop?
Watching the All-Star draft.
It's actually
going
happening
on right
as
now.
we're filming this. So
if
you guys are into that.
Watching my
staying
boy.
up to date.
I'm just hoping Zach LaVine. I'm just waiting, just cheering for my boy gets drafted, and he just did get drafted. Let's get it.
Which team?
I believe LeBron. As I was introducing myself, he got chosen, so I have no idea.
All right, I see. Dope. What's up, everyone? Jamaal. At Jamaal_TV on Instagram, and then Jamaal Shoots. If you guys are into photography, hit my line. But yeah, here we are.
Actually, I went to Kevin Durant. But.
So we have a packed show for you guys today. Again, thank you guys so much for the support and all that. To start off, we're going to really quickly go over the news and notes that happened this week. To kick it off, Umayr, we have some really big news out of Arizona.
Yes, J.J. Watt decides to go to Arizona. Some quick feedback that I thought was my first impressions when I read that. I thought he wanted to win a ring. Arizona is not the place that I would want to go if I'm trying to like win a ring immediately. I was actually to the assumption that he wanted to join Tom Brady and the Buccaneers and try to find a way to like restructure his deal. But it looks like, I mean, he has a large contract that he has gotten from Arizona, which is why I think that influenced him. He wants to get paid, and for the amount of money he's getting paid, Arizona is not a bad place. It's very competitive. I think it does help them on defense, but it's not the top place I would choose. What are your guys' thoughts?
I like the move a lot. I think him and Chandler Jones really boost that defensive line, and the guys in the back like what's his name, Buda Baker, Byron Jones, great guys to have on the edge. Or not Byron Jones, Byron Murphy. Who is going to elevate that defense, and I think it's a great pickup for them. I didn't see it coming at all because he had great offers from Indy and Cleveland, but J.J. Watt in Arizona.
Back on the radar. I think I completely agree with you. I think he got his bag pretty much. He secured the bag. He's definitely not in his prime anymore, but he's still a dog. So, I'm happy he got a deal. He's reunited with D-Hop from the Texans, too. So, there's that. People are saying, like, trade Kyler for Deshaun Watson. Doubt that's going to happen.
No.
But happy for him, whatever. Either way, I think he could have gone to Tampa Bay.
I think
he didn't want to win a ring. He cared more about the bag. That's pretty much what it came down to.
He said he wanted to win a ring, and I think that out of the teams that he was looking at, I think he likes what Arizona's doing.
Really?
I think D-Hop recruited him pretty well.
I think it's going to be a 2-year. It's a 2-year deal. I think he's going to play out the 2 years, and I think in that second year, that's really when they're going to go for it. Because next year,
you think within 2 years? You think within 2 years the Cardinals have a chance of making it to the Super Bowl and winning?
Yeah.
Do you see them winning the division?
No.
No. Okay.
Not yet. I see them winning 8 games next year, but that NFC West is crazy, and we can go on about that.
Whole different thing.
Other news to talk about. Buster Screen got finally released by the Bears. Good move. I like it. Terrible nickel corner. He was getting burned by Devontae Adams in the slot all the time.
Who wasn't getting burned by Devontae Adams? Let's be
real. I know.
You can't use that comparison.
I mean, he was just a bad corner, like A.J. Brown torch. Everyone was torching this guy. I feel bad for him because he was that guinea pig that was kind of thrown in that slot position and wasn't able to handle it, especially against the league's top receivers. He's gone. Not much to say about that. Defense rebuilding. Let's get Sean Desai some more weapons. Let's see what he's going to do. So excited about that. And then lastly, to touch on the Ben Roethlisberger front, Jamaal, you have an update on his contract and his renegotiation.
Yeah, so he got his deal restructured pretty much. This was supposed to be the last year of his contract, but they restructured it with a signing bonus and stuff, and now he's extended until next year or this coming year. So it's another 1-year deal, and then there's more room. There's less of a cap hit pretty much. He's getting like $14 million this year. Good or bad move by the Steelers, sticking with him for another year?
I think they just didn't have a backup option. Like, they really, I guess, didn't see what they liked in or like what they see in Sam Darnold. which was the biggest rumor of going to Pittsburgh. But I don't like Drew Brees rumored to be coming back, and just that legacy, that name value, just taking up that spot.
I think that Ben Roethlisberger, it's like you kind of had to, because he was like the franchise quarterback for so many years. So it's kind of like, okay, we'll give it to you. But if you do not draft a running back in the draft, I can see Ben Roethlisberger being benched in the first half of the season.
Wow.
After that, because I just don't see him throwing for so long.
You think he'll get benched for Mason Rudolph though?
Not Mason
They
Rudolph.
have to have a better backup.
Yeah, they don't have a backup. Or no, they have what's his name?
Dwayne Haskins.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. I think that if you make Ben try to if you try to make Ben throw 40 times at the end, he's gonna just get burnt out. It's happened to Breeze too. Like
they need a
first
run
half
game,
he plays good, and the second half he just sucks. So
yeah,
not a big. I don't know. It depends on what they do in the draft. So
and real quick to end off our news and notes segment, there's this news out of San Diego. So it's a baseball player, Tommy Pham. He's an outfielder for the Padres. And in the off season, he involved in some altercation outside of a nightclub, where he was stabbed, and the doctor literally told him that the only reason you're alive is because how jacked you are, how much the muscle in his abs is the one thing that kept him alive. So imagine going into the doctors and him telling you, "Yo, you're so built that it literally saved your life." That's like the ultimate alpha move right there.
It's
right?
a straight flex. That's what that is. No pun intended.
Yeah. So moving on, real quick, want to touch on Dak Prescott's situation. A lot of fans are wondering what he's going to do. A lot of Washington fans are also really enticed to see if they're going to franchise him, if they're going to cut him, because they want to jump in on that. What are you guys' thoughts on what Dallas is going to do?
So it's like a whole thing. This has been going on for like the last 2 years. Dak's been trying to get a deal. He got franchised last year, got injured under the franchise tag. And then you saw how bad that Cowboys team was with Andy Dalton pretty much taking over the helm. I feel bad for him because everyone else on that team got a contract. And then there's him. You know what I mean? And you're not going to find if you're Jerry Jones and the Cowboys, you're not going to find a better quarterback on the market now than Dak.
So you re-sign him?
I think you re-sign him. You can't franchise him because he'll walk away.
Because you're not scared of the injury.
I think Dak's a stud, bro. I think he'll be back. I think he'll be the same Dak.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think that injury is gonna.
Ankle injury.
It is. I think Burrow's injury is gonna be worse, to be honest. Coming
Burrow's
back from that.
ACL.
No, that's ACL, PCL, MCL, whatever the hell he tore a lot of different things. Yeah, meniscus. He tore a lot.
But I think he'll be fine. He's super young.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's gonna. I think Joe Burrow's gonna be fine. But for Dak,
Dak's young too.
But I have a complete opposite take for Dak. The reports are coming out that he wants right under Patrick Mahomes' money.
That's not happening.
For me, Dak, while he played, what did he show you that to me personally showed he's yes, he's good enough to be a franchise player per se, but he doesn't put you over the top. I'm not scared to play against Dak for me personally.
All right, so what are you gonna do this season though? Let's say you don't sign him, right?
Franchise tag.
I franchise tag him.
I think you're too scared of the injury. You got to see what you have in him, and by franchise tagging him, you can see at least.
Don't you think that's disrespectful though? Because you literally franchise tagged him last year. You're gonna franchise tag him again.
I mean,
I feel like you got to see what you have in your investment. You have no idea what you're gonna get back. What if you sign him and he sucks? What are you gonna do? Then you just screwed yourself. You screwed your cap room. You screwed your entire franchise, and you put in the hole for 7 years.
I say you let him test the market.
Yeah.
So what would you do if you're the Cowboys? Draft a quarterback?
I mean, okay. So from Dak's perspective, right? If the Cowboys want to be relevant this year, in the years to come, pretty much the next 2-3 years, they need to sign him. That's honestly all. There's no other option.
If they sign him, in my opinion,
where are they gonna go with Andy Dalton?
They have weapons on the
and
offensive side.
And no quarterback.
If they sign him, I think they're screwed for the future long run.
That's what I'm thinking too.
They're gonna end up like Jared Goff.
I think signing him is the wrong move.
Yes.
I think cutting him is the wrong move. And what's in between that? Franchise tag.
Yeah.
See what you
franchise
have for a year.
Is there a way for him to decline a franchise tag?
No.
They can sit out, but
yeah, he can hold out, but that's not going to do him any.
I just feel bad for him, bro. To be honest,
he's not. He's in the middle. He's not like a top 5 quarterback, but he's not bad enough to.
When he was playing, in the beginning of the season, he was an MVP candidate.
Yeah,
but I'm saying think of it as you. If
Russell
you're
Wilson
the GM.
was doing the same thing, and he's on his way out of Seattle.
Chicago.
Yeah.
Speaking of Bears quarterbacks, we're going to get into our mailbag right now. Thank you guys, everybody, for tuning in, dropping your questions and your topics that you wanted us to talk about. So we're going to talk about those right now. One of the questions on our mailbag was, who should the Bears' new quarterback be going forward, excluding Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson?
It's a hard question, but you want to start off? Or?
I gotta go Nick Foles, bro.
Who should the Bears quarterback be?
Outside of Russell Wilson.
Who should the Bears quarterback be? Not who you think is going to be.
Oh, like if I could just pick any quarterback.
What should the Bears do? Don't go all the way down to our floor here. Let's talk about.
All right, if I'm the Bears,
let's give
honestly,
ourselves a little chance to dream a little.
If I'm the Bears, I am trying to pull a trade. I am trying to do something in the draft to get one of these top quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Wait, who asked
Like a
this
Zach
question?
Wilson.
Harun.
Okay.
To get like a Zach Wilson, or to get like
But you're leveraging your
Justin
your
Fields.
future by getting one of those guys. That's the only issue. Like we
they
don't
already
have
did
draft
that
capital.
though. Might as well double down. They already did that.
I think they don't have that draft capital.
They don't have that draft capital, but
And
they also
so
don't have
they-
trade capital too. If you think about it.
They do on the defensive side of the ball. They do.
I think you get Fitzmagic. You get him for a temporary relief quarterback. He gives you a little spark for the fans, but then we suck enough to get a good draft pick. You know, we get that top 10 draft pick, and then we go from there. It's not like a long-term, like plan, but temporarily what we have going, I think he can give us a little push.
I think if we don't get a quarterback, if we don't get Wilson or Watson, which
Then do not invest in a like an average quarterback.
because what we did right is
Yeah.
we gave a crap ton of money
Right.
and a bunch of draft picks for Nick Foles.
Facts.
Like, what was the point? Like, if we're gonna do
But
that, at least get a solid starting.
But that's what I'm
quarterback.
saying. Like, if we can't get a Deshaun Watson or a Russell Wilson,
Draft.
get it. I mean, this year
I think you
have to
need
move
a
up.
bridge quarterback
Yeah.
for something bigger down
Yes.
the road.
But if
Exactly.
Foles is already on a contract, you might as well not waste assets and trade for a quarterback. Just use him up.
No,
Right, while
we're
you have
saying
him.
Foles will already be there, but just in case, like he'll be a backup, we can get like another
But bro,
backup.
the amount of money we're paying him,
No,
bro.
how much would Fitzmagic cost, or like another average quarterback? I feel like
Not
it'd be
much.
veteran minimum, right?
Yeah.
Or something like that. Yeah, like get a veteran minimum.
you get
have
like
him
3 mil,
compete.
4 mil. You can get James.
I just
for
don't
maybe
want
2
Mitchell
mil.
Trubisky to come back
Hey,
personally.
we
I
all
think
agree.
he's gone.
There's no
I think
Mitch.
he's
There's
gone.
no Mitch. Yeah.
Not because like I just don't want to deal with the whole drama thing again. Like I just want.
I think you have to
fresh start.
leverage everything and get one of these guys, man.
You
I
got-
don't think
you gotta get a
have
Russell
to
Wilson.
Get Russell Wilson or Deshaun.
You gotta get- I mean,
gotta do
If
what
you had to
do.
choose, I'd choose Deshaun Watson.
Of course, because he's younger.
Yeah.
And he's.
But the more realistic one right now is looking like Russell Wilson. To be
which
honest,
isn't a bad. Like,
It's not
I know,
bad.
yeah, which is
it's
like
not
a
bad
solid.
second place.
I mean, the fact that he labeled the Bears as like one of the teams you'd go to out of like
I'm
4
shocked.
teams, like bro, if I'm the Bears like management, bro, I'm making calls all day. I'm
There's-
like,
I
I'll
mean,
give you anything type of thing.
They're
right?
saying
Like,
they're not interested in trading him, but yet they're answering calls. It's like it makes I don't know.
Crazy.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
understand.
All right, next question. Colby White's future as Chicago's starting point guard. Possible alternatives. Umayr, this is all you.
I see him as a coming off the bench player, or if we need to trade someone, he's unfortunately going to have to be like if we want a great player or a good player, he's one of those assets that we're gonna have to trade. But I like him. He's not bad. He's a scoring point guard, but he's not a guy that you can get the ball and kind of like be a floor general. He's someone who can come off the bench and give you a lot of points and energy. I don't see him as a starter in the future. I kind of see him from coming off the bench.
I mean, he could be soon. Like that down
Could,
the road. He's still
but
in the
he
second year.
develops,
He's
we'll
young.
see.
Yeah, he's young. He's in the second year. He makes a lot of mistakes still.
He
But
kind of reminds me of like that Kirk Heinrich.
Yeah, I was about to say Kirk.
Like he comes off the bench, gives you a good solid 15, 20 points.
He's
That type of player?
Yeah, he's a streaky player
Yeah.
too.
Is
so-
LaMelo
yeah.
Ball the rookie of the year?
Yes.
Easy, hands
Hands
down.
down.
Hands
Hands
down.
down. Yeah,
I
bro,
think so too.
he's hanging with everyone right now,
Yeah.
bro.
Let's see. If you started a team with an NBA player under 23, who are you picking?
Oh, we need a list of players under 23 right
I
now.
don't know who's under
So-
23.
Well,
NBA players under 23. Luca, easy. That's my answer.
Luka.
Luca's 21.
Oh yeah, duh. I guess it would be between Luca, Tatum, Trey,
I say
Ja,
Luka.
maybe.
Yeah, but you're going
I-
Luca.
I would-
Luca.
Yeah, it's Luka and then
Tatum,
Trey.
Trey, Ja.
No, but Devin.
Ja-
Ja's
Ja-
up there.
I mean-
Ja's up there. Ja's nice.
Devin,
Ja reminds me of
but-
like a D Rose type
this
player.
The
list.
fact that Ja and Luka Doncic are the same age. That's
That's
no,
crazy.
But Devin
That's crazy.
Booker just turned 24, so he should have.
I would still take Luka over Devin
Yeah, I'd
Booker.
still take Luka
but
over
I feel
Devin
like Devin Booker would have been number 2 for me.
Yeah, I can see. I don't hate that.
How old is Zach LaVine? 25.
Yeah.
They're all young, bro.
Yeah.
I'd personally take Ja.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Oh, you take Ja over Luka?
Personally, I take Ja.
Why?
Really? Wow.
I think he's gonna be a better overall. Like when it's all said and done, he's gonna be a better player. He's gonna
Really?
because
What?
yeah,
What?
yeah.
No
that's
way.
Smallest hot take.
That's a terrible take.
I will see.
After LeBron,
I love Luka.
bro.
I love Luka. Ja is special.
Bro, after LeBron leaves, it's gonna be.
I think Ja's hasn't touched his hype yet. Like,
No,
he
yeah,
hasn't even
100%. I
gotten
mean,
up
he's
there.
yeah.
Like Zion's done better than Ja.
Ja won Rookie of the Year, my guy.
Yeah, I'm talking this year. Well, Ja's also been hurt a lot this year. Okay, next one. The possibility of dealing Khalil Mack before he gets too old.
You start.
I think it's a good idea, especially if you're gonna get a Russell Wilson. It's the only way I see it.
Yeah,
I don't think it's
unfortunately,
happening other than that.
it's unfortunate. Like I like him, but
Linebackers also rarely get traded.
We need to trade someone in order for us to kind of like rebuild, per se. And so like in order to get a Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson, or even like I personally like, I just don't like us being an 8-8 team. Like it makes no sense.
I
I'd
feel
rather
like we're
trade.
gonna get an 8-8 year though.
You would want to go.
No, I feel like we're gonna get.
Yeah, we are. But I'm saying I'd rather trade
unfortunately,
Khalil Mack and get two future first round picks.
I don't think he's worth that value. That's what I'm saying. Defensive players, they don't get traded because value for defensive players usually isn't high.
But
the Bears gave a lot for Khalil Mack, but that was when
we actually
Khalil
got a
Mack
deal
was,
on Khalil Mack though. To be honest,
I mean, we gave him
Oakland gave him away.
We gave him 2 first-round picks and a third.
Yeah, I mean,
but that's when his like value is at his all-time high. Now his value has dropped significantly. He hasn't.
I mean, he's
played
still
because of Cody Parkey.
So real quick, just to jump in, was that trade worth it?
Yes.
You think so? I don't think so.
I think so.
I mean, it's our offense that's the problem, not the defense. Our defense was.
I mean, we were
defense was a problem
content.
this
I mean,
year.
Khalil Mack was a big.
This
reason
year was
why.
overrated.
Last year, our defense was a problem.
I feel like it's a coach.
It's not because of Khalil Mack.
Khalil Mack, what we traded for Aaron Donald level production, and we got. I mean, he did well his first year, and then he fell off.
I mean, he's
because
still
he was
top
double
10. He's not bad.
Top 10 what?
In the defensive line categories.
I mean, top 10 is like that's a lot of players.
But he's like what?
No, top 10 for you. So,
he's not top 5.
Okay, to be fair, JJ Watt's 19 on Pro Football Focus as defensive players overall.
So?
Khalil Mack's top 10.
I mean, what for?
Like,
I don't think
solid. It's solid.
he was our number
one.
one.
I don't think
guy.
it says as much as top like 3.
Well, what I'm saying is, I think
he doesn't touch Aaron Donald's level anymore. And 2 years ago, he was up there with Aaron Donald for defensive player of the year.
But do you also think like how much like? I would like to see the stats on this. How much on the field Khalil Mack was on compared to Aaron Donald?
Like the plus or minus for it.
Is.
Like the plus or minus for him being on the field.
Like,
I think he's like a big part of our defense, bro.
There could be like a next gen.
Bro, like our offense barely stayed on the field. Like he was probably tired as hell.
Yeah, I mean, but the production, right? It's about the production. Like
I guarantee
you're trading 2 firsts and a third for production.
Right, but I feel like Khalil Mack.
So you can make excuses for why that production didn't.
But I feel like every game Khalil Mack's getting. With Aaron Donald, he's getting triple teamed and double teamed. He's that dominant. But with Khalil Mack, when you double team him, it opens it up for other players. But I'm saying for other players,
Aaron Donald is so good at what he does because he's the only player in the league that can shed a double team.
Khalil Mack is in there.
Yeah, we also cannot be comparing Aaron Donald to Khalil Mack.
But he was 2 years ago. 2 years ago, he was.
He was a really good young star. I don't think he was an Aaron Donald type of player.
He was. He wasn't a good young star. He was established. He was the best player in the league.
It was Aaron Donald.
3 years ago, he was the best player in the league.
Best player in the league.
Donald,
best player
and Bobby
in the league.
Wagner. Those were the 3 best players in the league. And then he is significantly taken a step down from that.
I think we are wasting his talent.
Yeah.
I think the Bears are wasting his talent more than Khalil Mack's declining.
Raiders wasted his talent too, so it's not like he's gone anywhere where it's actually he had one good year and we went to the playoffs and the Parkey happened and it's been ever since. It's just been downhill. And the last thing on the mailbag is politics and sports, and that's a perfect segue into our segment Zlatan versus LeBron. And as someone who watches a lot of football, European football, and a lot of basketball, this is such an interesting take to me because Zlatan Ibrahimovic, a lot of people don't know who this is. It's crazy. But Zlatan Ibrahimovic is basically...
I didn't know who he was.
He's the Odell Beckham of European football. Okay? He is super controversial. He's super polarizing. He thinks of himself as like a demigod. Like literally.
I don't know about the whole OBJ
OBJ isn't like he's flashy. He's like, like...
But he doesn't think he's a... I mean, I think OBJ is more of like a Neymar, to be fair.
No,
really?
Neymar is more like a Kyrie, in my opinion.
Okay, right, now we just want to question different sports. All right. Go back.
Well, what I mean by that is that he's super flashy. He's always in the media. Everyone always talks about him. He's super cocky. So I'm not saying OBJ is that cocky. He's the most cocky athlete in probably the entire world. Thinks of himself as a lion, a demigod. Refers to himself in third person. And he had an autobiography a few years back when he was talking about how racism has really impacted his life. He is a Muslim Bosnian guy.
God damn it.
And he's from Sweden. He's from Sweden. And this week he thought he'd take a shot at LeBron James for involving himself in politics, which isn't really what LeBron does. But his statement was, athletes unite the world, politics divide it. Our role is to unite the world by doing what we do best. Athletes should be athletes and politicians should do politics. And that was in basically a response to LeBron's retort of he's very educated and he's the wrong guy to go at because these Black Lives Matter issues really affect him. They affect everyone around this country and whatnot. And it's also funny because the tie to Zlatan's like racist upbringing, if that's what we want to call it, and the problems that he dealt with that. So basically, the question at hand is what side, and I think we're all in agreement on LeBron here, but like what side of the coin do you guys fall on this?
I mean, for me, like I understand his point of view, but there's certain things that no matter, like, you have to bring attention on in the sports that they have such a big following that they kind of have like that responsibility of like how do I explain this in an analogy, but more so of like you as a teacher, when something bad happens, their job isn't to like report like what the like in the world, like most of the teachers, they say like, oh, like 9/11 for example, how you I know like you guys are giving me faces, but I mean,
I was like, oh, what?
It's not funny.
Hold on.
No, but I'm saying that teachers aren't there. You can say like, oh, teachers aren't there to like report to the students of what happens on like big news, but teachers can give that extra step to motivate students like to be the best that they can be. For example, in this situation, athletes can tell people like what is going on in the world per se, and say
because
like
of the platform that they have, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I think I understand his point of view that yes, athletes are there to play the sport, but you also it's like an unwritten rule that you have that you're supposed to do the right thing. So that's just my take on it.
So I get what he's saying, and I get the message he's trying to put across. I think it's more like a preference or like his opinion. I just disagree with it. But also I think his premise is ultimately wrong, because that's not what LeBron's doing. He's not doing. I wouldn't consider what he's doing politics. Like, Black Lives Matter isn't political. It shouldn't be political. Racism is not political. Like, the social justice issues that all NBA players are kind of like standing up for is not a political thing. WNBA players or NBA players standing up for women is not political.
I would agree with you if it hadn't
mean?
been for who was in office during the time of the social justice riots.
Well, it has a...
Because of who was in office during that time, it made it political because that person was against that.
Well, so be it. I mean, if someone's like... Okay, think about it like this, right? No matter who's in office, right? You're gonna want justice. You're gonna want it to be right. And the reason why it ended up turning into something political was because of who was in office, and that's not LeBron's fault. It's not LeBron's fault that the person in office didn't respect other human beings.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was more of a justice and equality issue than it was a political issue. But it ended up tying back to politics because if that person stayed in office, and LeBron knew this, and a lot of NBA players knew this, and it's also important to think about, right? These are NBA players with hundreds of thousands of followers, millions of followers, like global, worldwide, and people look up to them, people respect them. You want to put on a good example. If something like that's happening in your own backyard in the U.S. and you don't talk about it, then like, what's the point? And like the Spider-Man, like with great power comes great responsibility. You got to be able to use the following you have and put out a positive message. And if that's what you believe in, that's what you believe in. And it's not like he wasn't like, oh, like I'm going to vote liberal because I care about the stimulus checks and how like it's not like it's about what's right and what's wrong, right? And it's not political, and it shouldn't be political. And it sucks how in this recent climate something as simple as like a social justice issue where we all agree on, for the most part, what's right and what's wrong is become a political party line thing when it shouldn't be. Zlatan looking in, he was a Muhammad Ali admirer, what's the difference between what LeBron's doing and what Muhammad Ali was advocating for? So I'm curious
If
about
anything,
that.
Muhammad Ali was much more political in terms of the
Exactly.
foundation for what he stood for, civil rights
Mm.
and all that. There's no way to look about. I don't see where he's coming from. I think he's completely tone deaf. I think he's going against everything that he brought himself up on coming into the limelight, coming into the league, and I think I think he has mental health issues as well, because he is so just completely deluded in his own mind of how high he raises himself to be. And because of that, I think and because of being in Italy, obviously, like that's a completely different ball game. They don't really know the problems that face us here. I'm sure if you were of African American or African Italian descent, you would have those same issues that you're working with. But you would think that someone who dealt with racism his entire life actually would
Ibrahimovic. Like, come on, bro.
Be empathetic with where we're coming from here, and it's a tone deaf, terrible, completely just altruistic stance that it doesn't make any sense. And Zlatan, man, I always liked him because I used to like Barcelona a lot in FIFA, and then when he came to LA, he was really cool. But this is like, it's one of those things where you see one of your athletes or someone like in sports make a stupid take, and you're just like, what is this? We've seen this before with like Kurt Schilling. We've seen this before Drew Brees. So it's just one of those things. Moving on, we have our final segment of the day. It is a more interactive kind of segment where you guys, as listeners, can kind of chime in. We're going to give you guys the opportunity as well to give us your takes on this, but I thought it'd be fun to do, and it's going to be the logo debate. So basically, the question at hand is, who, if they were changing all the logos tomorrow, let's say the NFL was changing the shield, who would be on the logo of our 4 major sports? Obviously, hockey, we don't really know that much, so I'm just going to say Wayne Gretzky because he's the great one.
Mm-hmm.
But let's go baseball, basketball, football. What do you guys think?
So basketball, I gotta agree with everyone saying Kobe.
Really?
Icon. It was definitely between MJ and Kobe, but I feel like because of Kobe's legacy on just like in the way he passed and after retirement and his story and the way that it resonates with so many players, you gotta go Kobe to honor him. NFL was interesting, right? I was thinking about it before the segment. I was like, oh, Deion Sanders, like he played multiple positions, he excelled, he was amazing.
So why don't we do sport by sport? Let's just start
okay,
let's do basketball, and then we'll go.
I have Jordan. I mean, there's knowing there was a survey that was, I think it was this year, who's the most popular athlete in the past like 10 years or something, and Jordan like outblew everyone. Everyone, like, people, his icon is just so big. Like, I cannot see another, like, I understand Kobe, like, in our generation, it was, like, he like, even for previous generation, he was a guy, but Jordan is just he looks like he's just ever living, kind of, like,
especially
icon.
with his business and all that, right?
Like, it's not even, like, yeah, he's just an icon. Like, his shoe brand is so, like, I mean, to be that successful in just shoes, like, I think he is the face of basketball, if I had to put someone there.
Why not LeBron?
I think LeBron, it's either you love him or you hate him type of mentality. I feel like Jordan, like, even when he killed you, people still loved him. So.
Yeah, I think LeBron's much more polarizing. I think, I thought Jordan coming into it, but now that I'm thinking about it, like, Kobe kind of epitomizes what it means to be an NBA player, not just on the court, but off the court as well, and that legacy that he had is also going to carry over. So I feel like Kobe, like, logo-wise, right, you're not talking about necessarily who's the greatest to ever play the game as the logo. Yeah. You're talking about the embodiment of the league. Right?
But who, like, everyone looked, for me, it was just like everyone changed their game. Like, he changed everything, Jordan.
But I feel like now, as crazy as it sounds, everyone's going to
remember Kobe
Kobe more than they would remember LeBron.
Or it's gonna hit your heart more to think about Kobe.
Well, yeah,
right.
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
because of him
like,
passing and everything.
I think it completely has to do with
it. That's
like,
a big factor.
If he was still alive, I don't think that we would be saying that.
Yeah.
And also, this is a hot take. Maybe I shouldn't say this, but I'm gonna say it anyways to cause some controversy. Okay. Kobe's like really being elevated in terms of greatest of all time as well, in terms of like where he ranks amongst the greatest.
Where would you rate him?
I think he's like 8, 9, and he's being put up to like 5.
He's not 5.
I don't think he's 5.
I think top 6th if you had to like rank him like if the highest I would ever go is 6 in my opinion.
Yeah, I think he's like I think Shaq is better, but we'll do that another time because
That's a whole different segment.
Yeah. Football wise, what do you guys think?
So I started off with that whole Deion Sanders thing. I was thinking about it more, right? And I'm like, so for basketball, it's like everyone's a player that shoots the ball in the hoop or passes the ball or rebounds, right? Football, what position do you want the logo to be? You want to be someone going up and catching a ball? You want someone throwing it like a quarterback? And then I think about like what's the most iconic position? It's got to be quarterback, right?
Yeah.
So I think you got to go Brady here.
Yeah.
I think you just got to go Brady.
I think that's easy.
Him just like that, right?
Like the three in consideration for me are Brady, Jerry Rice, and Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah.
And Brady is just, I mean, what he's doing on the field is just incredible, and we'll never see it again. Like we are witnessing the greatest modern day athlete do his thing for the last 21 years, and he's still going.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I was thinking Randy Moss too, like Moss and someone. I feel like that could have been
like
a
the
decent
image
one.
is cool, right?
Yeah, like the image. That's what I'm
cool.
talking about. Like the
if they were
silhouette.
gonna do it based off of like the image or like a highlight, but like I was thinking like if like for us in the 2010s, one of the greatest plays in football memory is the Diggs catch. So Diggs when he's running down the sideline and he holds the ball up in the air, like that could be something. But like for the actual athlete itself, I think it's unanimous Brady. Easy.
The Tyreek Hill pizza.
Baseball wise.
No, Umayr. He has to go. Brady?
Yeah,
You said Brady.
You said Brady? All right,
baseball wise, I really like the Latin American influence on the game. And to me, one of the greatest Latin American players that's kind of started this whole influx in movement is Albert Pujols. I would love to see him. He's like a great liaison for the game as well. The thing with baseball and why it's probably harder and why Umayr and Jamaal are probably both like looking up.
We're
baseball
both looking up baseball players.
No, I have two people in mind. That's why I'm trying to see.
It's due to the fact that baseball does not market their players. They don't market their superstars, and that's one of the biggest challenges when it comes to baseball's popularity and why it's completely diminishing. Is that when we were growing up, people really chose their teams and they stuck with their teams. Nowadays, these younger generation kids, they're sticking with the players. Like they really like what the players are doing. So like in NBA, right? Like we're all Bulls fans here because we're from Chicago, but we love certain players. Like I love Luka, right? And you guys love like Umayr's a Clippers fan for some reason.
What?
I like Kawhi.
He likes
He's
Kawhi.
he's my favorite player.
Yeah. And like so we have like these players that we stick with that we follow, and the same thing in the NFL. Like obviously fantasy has a big reason as to why that is. Like Jamal's a Josh Allen fan because of fantasy, and only because of fantasy.
Won me 2 leagues, bro.
Exactly.
Straight money.
Now all of a sudden, Josh Allen.
He's a dog.
Like you like these players because they have more of like you see them, right? They're presented to you. They're presented through fantasy. In the NBA, you see them all over social media. They're all over like jerseys and shops and billboards and whatnot. Baseball has a huge issue with that because they don't have players that they market. Like they don't have stars. And the thing is, there is these rules in baseball. They're called the unwritten rules that like prevent basically their main stars from being able to be flashy and cool, and that's what everyone loves. Like for example, the Fernando Tatis. Have you guys heard of Fernando Tatis?
I've heard of the name.
So he's like a young star, young stud Latin player. He's got like the dreads. He's got all like the gear and everything. Super dope. Last year in a game, while there's no fans, he hit a grand slam in the 9th inning and had to apologize for hitting the grand slam after the game because the other team thought he was running up the score.
That's the
he
dumbest
hit a grand slam, bat flip, celebrated everything.
He had to apologize,
and
like the league
to
forced him.
Apologize, no, like
or
his
like
team, one of his coaches said something, and he was like, "No, that's not good. Like we don't run up the score. We don't like doing that." So he apologized.
What's up with the competitive spirit, man? Just straight going.
It was just the most ridiculous.
Why don't you
thing? And it's these
pitch a better way. Dude.
And what it is? It's these white players in the old baseball days. Like they had these certain rules that they do. Like if you hit a home run and you celebrate it, the next at bat you come up, you're getting hit by a pitch. Like they're throwing at you. Like there's stupid unwritten rules. That's what's really holding the game back. So I think it's Albert Pujols because of that Latin influx. Latin players are really the only thing that's fun about baseball nowadays. What are your guys' thoughts?
I have 3 players in mind. You can tell me like which one, because you probably have a better understanding of like for baseball. But I have either Jackie Robinson, Derek Jeter, or Babe Ruth.
Those are all great.
I was gonna say Jackie Robinson or Babe Ruth.
I like Jeter a lot.
Jeter, but I feel like Jeter's more like the Kobe. Like he for New York.
Like that's the
Yeah.
perfect comparison for
Yeah.
Jeter. He's the Kobe. Like he's not the greatest player of all time, but he's such a winning player. That mentality. And then Jackie Robinson obviously changed sports history.
Right.
So I think those are actually great. And then Babe Ruth. Everyone knows who Babe Ruth is.
Everyone knows who Babe
And
Ruth is.
Sammy. If
Yeah.
I was being
Yeah.
a homer, I would put Sammy up there too, just like a hop or something.
But if you had to choose one, I feel like I'd choose Babe Ruth, only because of what he like.
Yeah, because there's no way that they would use like a black player because they're not about the movie.
Yeah, they're not about that.
But yeah, Babe Ruth would be good. But other than that, what other sports are there that we could talk? What about changing logos?
I don't like
What about
it.
a fluctuating logo every year? Like, what if you played the season and the MVP of the year gets the logo for the next
You know how
year?
much money it would cost for like the league
Yeah.
for them to change like everything?
But that would be cool, right?
Marketing wise and all
Yeah.
that.
Do you think that would be an incentive to win the MVP?
No.
No?
No.
You know how tough it is to find a good logo, like, and to think
No,
about
no, I'm
He
not
won
saying-
MVP in itself.
No,
like-
no, I'm not saying it's like they would do it. I'm not saying on the league. I'm talking about as a player. Like if you could be a logo for a year.
Nah.
I'd
that
care
would
more
be-
about the car that I get for winning
Yeah.
MVP than the logo.
That's true because that's
The
gonna
Kia
last
Optima.
longer,
Yeah.
the Kia
Yeah.
Optima.
Because then it'll lose its value. If you are the logo, someone is a different person every year.
The logo will lose value.
Yeah, because I'm trying to figure out like how to incentivize it, where it's like every year's MVP matters in some case, but obviously.
Well, here's a better question. So then, like, do you think that sports like football and baseball that don't have, I guess baseball does have a person as a logo, right?
It does.
So for football, should they have a person as a logo, or should it just be like the NFL?
No, because it's a team sport.
I think
more
it
so.
depends on what Brady does the rest of his career.
Depends on Brady.
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
If Brady wins 8,
Yeah, but I understand he's the greatest of all time, but football's a team sport. If you put one person,
They're all team sports.
But yeah, but like in basketball, you're
okay,
if you're
but
the
Jerry West is the logo in the NBA.
I
Who the hell
don't.
cares about Jerry West?
Yeah, but I feel like just football
Harmon
is a little
Killebrew is
different.
the logo in the NFL.
Football, I feel like an impact. I feel like a player in NBA can have a more of an influence than NFL.
See, the
in
thing
terms
is,
of-
I feel like why you have to get rid of the shield is because after the Colin Kaepernick thing, a lot of
The shield has been broken.
not even the shield's been broken; it's been tainted.
Yeah.
Because the shield
Yes.
now, like protecting that shield is protecting the shield against these social justice people that come in. No kneeling because of the shield.
I
And
just
feel
say
like that's
leave
been
it.
tainted. So I think that it should be changed in a way. I like the NFL logo the most though, out of the three. Just like logo wise,
clean.
it's clean cut.
I actually like the NBA logo better. But
Really?
yeah. Maybe.
I used to love the baseball. Like Javi Baez is the baseball logo tattooed on the back of his neck. I don't know why, but that's one of his tats that I always realize. Okay, but other than that, we have next week we're gonna start GOAT debates. So that's gonna be
Ooh, that's
interesting.
gonna be juicy.
And also, real quick, we're gonna set up the brackets for March Madness as the tournament's taking
yes.
shape. For our listeners,
Go Gonzaga.
we're gonna have $100 giveaway for whoever.
I'm hearing
has
about this for the first time.
closest
yeah, I'm
to-
hearing about this for the first time
Oh,
too.
breaking news on the show. We're having a $100 giveaway for the person that is closest to what actually happened. So if you have the most correct bracket, you get $100. We're gonna set up something. It'll probably be on Sleeper or Yahoo or one of these things. So make sure to follow the show, and you'll be able to enter and win $100. $100.
Stay tuned
For
next week.
just
100
putting in
bucks.
a bracket. That's all you gotta do. You're gonna do it anyways for your friends or your like inner work groups or whatever. Just throw that bracket into the Sideline Banter SB bracket pool, and you'll win $100. Shout out Illinois for beating Michigan. Huge win for our boys,
Yeah.
even though none of us are actually from that school.
Go U of
But-
I.
U of I.
Hey, if
Yeah.
you're from Illinois, we cheer for you.
Catch us at Sideline Banter Show on Instagram. Catch us on the YouTube. Hopefully, we'll be setting up the live streams maybe next week, maybe the week after. Who knows?
Yep.
But we'll be getting that going. Like I said, $100 giveaway. Be sure to look out for that. Follow us. Comment on our post. Let us know what you think. Who should be the logo in your favorite sport? Comment that on below this. And then, catch us next week. We're going to be back. Your favorite topics, your favorite shows, everything that you care about is going to be on this show. So follow us, subscribe, and like our video on YouTube. And we'll see you guys next week. I'm Nadeem.
Yes, sir. Jamaal.
Umayr.
One more thing. Leave your comments. Let us know what you guys think of the show. Any improvements, critiques. We're super open to it. If you guys like the mailbag segment, submit your questions, submit stuff like that. We love talking about it. But yeah, echoing what Nadeem said, we'll catch you guys next week. Peace out.
Sir. Peace.